the first goal is to destroy Hamas, and the second goal is to bring back our hostages. We're trying to do both.
Yeah, so those are completely understandable goals that the United States very much supports, understanding that Hamas is a barbaric terrorist organization. But Israel is not Hamas, and the United States also makes very clear that democracies have to do better. The Secretary of State, Tony Blinken, said that far too many Palestinian civilians have been killed. What is your response to that?
I think any civilian loss is a tragedy, and the blame should be placed squarely on Hamas because it prevents them from leaving the war zone, sometimes at gunpoint. It fired on the safe zone and the safe corridor that we enacted the other day to prevent Palestinians from leaving harm's way. It puts rockets inside schools, hospitals. It has tunnels below children's beds. I mean, this is what we're dealing with.
Absolutely.
So obviously we can't give them immunity.
But because Israel isn't Hamas, is Israel doing everything possible to take that into consideration?
Yes,
and avoid
yes,
civilian
and
deaths?
more than that. And more than that. We're trying to minimize civilian casualties. As a result of our ground action, I think the number of civilian casualties is actually being reduced because people are heeding our calls to leave the area and defying Hamas's attempt to keep them there. And we'll do everything in our power to do that. But, you know, the one example I could give you is this. Look, these savages, they perpetrated the worst horrors on Jews since the Holocaust. The German Chancellor Scholz called them the new Nazis. Well, look at the old Nazis. The Allies were attacked by Hitler, and so they invaded France and then Germany. And when they did that, they went into the cities. They had to fight the German army that was often embedded in civilian in the cities,
Yeah.
in civilian neighborhoods. And many civilians were killed. So who was the blame laid on to? Did they say, well, the Nazis are the Allies are wrong, the Allies should stop fighting? Or they said, look, use force as judiciously as you can, but don't give the Nazis any refuge. Defeat the Nazis, which is what we're doing.
Prime Minister,
We're using force in the most judicious way, but we have to defeat these new Nazis, and we will, for our sake, for your sake too.